On June 1, 2025, Ukraine carried out one of its most daring strikes of the war, Operation Spiderweb. In a single night, 5 Russian airbases, including Belaya, Dyagilevo, Olenya, Ivanovo, and Amur, were hit. At least 4 suffered damage. According to Ukraine's security service, the attack destroyed 41 aircraft, including Tu-95 and Tu-22M bombers, plus a rare A-50 airborne command plane. The financial blow? Around $7 billion. But the real headline isn't what was destroyed. It's how the attack happened. This wasn't a long-range missile strike or a swarm launched from across the border. Instead, Ukraine spent 18 months preparing a mission that unfolded entirely inside Russian territory. Small FPV drones, the kind usually used for short-range attacks, were smuggled into Russia inside modified truck containers. These containers had false roofs, opened remotely to release the drones once the trucks were in position, just a few miles from each airbase. Because they launched from within the country, the drones completely bypassed Russian border defenses. They flew low, avoided radar, and were piloted locally using Russian telecom networks, a detail that made them harder to detect or jam. This wasn't just clever. It revealed a huge blind spot in Russia's air defense. Systems like the S-400 are built to intercept missiles and jets, not dozens of small drones popping up from civilian trucks parked nearby. One launch even happened near Chelyabinsk, close to a regional FSB headquarters, and no one stopped it. Operation Spiderweb was more than an attack. It was proof that even Russia's most protected assets aren't safe anymore, and that Ukraine is capable of striking where it hurts most without ever crossing the front line. Vladimir Putin now finds himself in a precarious position. The success of Operation Spiderweb wasn't just a military embarrassment, it was a political humiliation. For a regime that thrives on control, secrecy, and the illusion of invincibility, this kind of high-profile failure cuts deep. According to Newsweek, sources close to the Kremlin say Putin is furious and looking for someone to blame. His attention is reportedly focused on the FSB, Russia's main security agency, especially since at least one of the drone deployment zones was disturbingly close to the FSB's own regional headquarters in Chelyabinsk. That raises serious questions. How did these drones get so deep into Russian territory without anyone noticing? Who failed to intercept them? Who leaked information? In systems like Putin's, failure usually leads to purges. We've seen this before. After the Wagner mutiny in 2023, heads rolled in the Ministry of Defense. Analysts now believe we could see a similar shakeup, not just to assign blame, but to remind those around him that no one is untouchable. But the implications go beyond internal politics. Experts from the Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, believe that whenever Putin feels cornered, he reacts the same way, with escalation. That might mean an increase in long-range missile strikes on Ukrainian infrastructure, more glide bomb attacks near the front lines, or, perhaps most concerning, renewed targeting of civilian areas. That's not just military strategy. It's psychological warfare. The idea is to break Ukraine's will by making daily life unbearable. And it's a message to Russia's own population too. We're still strong. We're still in control. But there's a limit to how well that strategy works. NATO immediately praised Ukraine's precision strike as a bold and intelligent use of asymmetric warfare. China, meanwhile, often a cautious partner to Russia, called for restraint, according to the BBC. That signals growing international concern over how far Russia might go in response. And then there's the nuclear question. Some of the destroyed aircraft, like the Tu-95, are capable of carrying nuclear weapons. But almost every major military analyst agrees. Actual nuclear use remains extremely unlikely. Not because Putin wouldn't consider it, but because the diplomatic fallout would be catastrophic. It would push Russia into near-total isolation, possibly even from its remaining allies. So instead of nukes, the world is watching for subtler escalations, cyber attacks, sabotage operations, disinformation campaigns, or more aggressive behaviour near NATO borders. Anything that keeps the pressure high without triggering direct confrontation. Putin now faces a choice: double down on retaliation and risk further global backlash, or recalibrate and try to restore control from within. Either way, Operation Spiderweb has forced the Kremlin into a reactionary posture. And that's a rare place for Putin to be. This wasn't just a strike on airfields, it was a direct hit to Putin's image. In a system built on control and strength, showing any kind of weakness is dangerous. And this operation, it exposed exactly that. If Ukrainian drones can reach deep into Russian territory and take out bombers, what else is vulnerable? Inside Russia, that kind of embarrassment doesn't go unnoticed. Behind closed doors, there's blame being thrown around. Someone dropped the ball, and someone's going to pay for it. Meanwhile, Ukraine is running with the narrative. And who can blame them? They've turned the attack into a symbol of grit, brains, and resilience. This wasn't about brute force, it was about outsmarting a bigger enemy. And it worked. Historically, it echoes those legendary sabotage missions. But this time, it's not commandos sneaking through the desert. It's software, drones, and timing. It's a new kind of warfare, one where brains beat brawn. But the real question now is, what comes next? Operation Spiderweb didn't just destroy aircraft. It humiliated a global power. It rattled nerves. And it showed that Russia, despite all its firepower, has blind spots. So, how will Putin respond? We don't know yet. But one thing's for sure, this war just changed gears. The risks are higher, the rules are shifting, and both sides are adapting fast. What do you think comes next? Let us know in the comments. And hit subscribe if you want to stay ahead of the story.